Welcome to the Church Street podcast here at First Grapevine Methodist Church. And yes, we really are on Church Street. I'm Grant. I'm one of the pastors here. I am joined by two other people who are in the room. The first is our production manager. That means he helps us with all of our media, all of our audio, all of our video, anything involving sound and light. He is a part of it. The one and only Mr. Paul Bielss. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Across the table from us, we do not have Pastor Zach again this week. We're not trying to exclude him or anything. He just has so much going on. He's doing a lot of important things. He's been here today early. He came and left before I even got here. But we will catch up in conversation with him and corner him about all kinds of things and just pepper him with questions and make him just as uncomfortable as we can. Isn't that what we do, Dr. Keva Green?
Yes, that is correct.
So we are joined by Keva, one of the other pastors here, and we're going to ask her some more questions, which we've been doing, and which have just been amazing. Your heart, your character, your experiences in life, your interest. My mom was listening to the podcast, and she said, you know, what can that woman not do? Just so incredible. So thank you for letting us pester you with questions, which, by the way, just a little note on the production this week. If you are looking for us on YouTube, you won't find it. That's my fault. It's because, and you may cut this out. I probably shouldn't say this. I look like a corpse that's been pulled out of the late grapevine because I haven't been sleeping well. And
Friday the 13th was 2 weeks ago, so
and like my vertigo seems to be getting worse on one side, and it's not a pretty sight in this corner. So we are audio only today. We're going classic radio.
Classic radio.
And you can find us on
The Shadow Knows.
Oh Lord. Yeah. That's the stuff we used to do on the old podcast. We're grown up here
Oh,
now.
sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't just say that.
We're not on the back porch anymore.
That's
we're on
right.
Church Street. So
Sorry.
you got to dress up and act nice. Yeah. Exactly. But I do have we're going to start lighthearted, but I want to ask some more serious questions. Just kind of continuing with our theme of our conversation as we get to know Keva. And I think also, and I want to plant a seed in the back of your mind out there, we're trying to model conversation, like let you peer into ours, but also maybe give you some ideas of questions you can ask your family, friends, coworkers, just ways to start up an interesting conversation and get to know other people and let them get to know you as well. All right, Keva, what's your favorite place to eat? Because you mentioned you like to go out to eat with people.
Because you don't like your kitchen except for chocolate cake, right?
Right. Well, I like Italian food and I like Mexican food. So I need to name a specific. I also like steaks.
You like steaks?
Uh-huh.
I like steaks too much. Yeah.
So I like salmon.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want like a name of a restaurant?
Sure, give us a name.
Ooh, I would say Gloria's.
Okay.
For Mexican food. Is that really Mexican food or is it Spanish food? I don't know.
Latin food.
I believe
official.
it's technically Latin.
Gloria's is good.
Yeah,
I went
like
there
Gloria's.
just the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, especially their special plate that has all the...
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big eater, but I want to taste a lot of little things.
Okay. Well, when you want a steak, where do you go?
Actually, usually I've had people cook them for me. I hadn't been too many places, but I hear Kirby's is really good.
We highly recommend Kirby's. Yes, we do.
So.
Yeah. This episode brought to you by Kirby's Steakhouse. Yeah.
That's right.
Love that place.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. We should go there sometime.
We should.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah. That's so. But if somebody's cooking you a steak and they say, "What kind of steak do you like, Keva?"
Filet.
I could have guessed that. Yeah, you like the lean, smaller. Yeah. I get that. Do you want to answer that one?
Well, you know, I always say it wrong, but I'm a Politarian, I believe is how you say it. Basically, I eat chicken mostly not because it's a issue that I don't like meat. It's my body does not like red meat.
Oh.
And so I just kind of eat more chicken and turkey and things like that than red meat. So I can literally say in the last 10 years, I've had probably less than 3 steaks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how I do it. But basically, I love Mexican food. We go out to Mexican every once in a while. Esparzas, here. Another commercial. Basically, or what's the one? Baja Mexican, I believe is the name of it, over near Joanne's.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our favorite places to go.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Oh, we got to ask Keva a very important food question, though. Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Neither.
Neither?
Neither.
You don't eat fast food at all?
Well, I would rather have a Chaps hamburger or Chaps. Do you know Chaps?
I don't.
Nolan Ryan's beef.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of southern Texas than
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they have a
Neither?
jalapeno hamburger
Yeah.
that
Okay.
I like there. Yeah. So,
All right.
I'm not a...
And the reason he asked you that is because we have this debate of Whataburger versus In-N-Out.
It's,
what do
it's
y'all
not
say?
a debate. It's a childish, silly conversation back and forth.
and is there a theological reason why you choose one over the other?
Well, he claims to be Texan, but basically.
No, I do not.
Oh,
I do
okay.
not claim to be Texan. I'm a citizen of the world, and therefore, no. He defends Whataburger because of his Texas nature, and he's scared to let anyone in his family know that he actually has eaten at.
I have eaten there. I have said that,
and he enjoyed it.
I did not say that.
Yeah, you can't see what I mean. See what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I just had to ask. That's just one of those things. So I'll throw in my answer as well. Favorite places to eat. I like either really fine dining, Kirby's, Waters in Fort Worth is one of my favorite places. Eddie V's, Capitol Grill. I like that. Or the complete opposite end of the spectrum, a random no-name food truck, something like that. Anything in between is not worth it to me. I'd rather just eat at home. But really fine dining. Or
Are they still doing the food trucks over there by the zoo in Fort Worth? Because
No.
for a while they had a rotation of food trucks that were going over there. So
Not for years.
oh, okay, it shows you how old I am.
Yeah, or how often you get down to Fort Worth.
That's true. That's true too.
All right, what's your favorite place to shop?
Yeah.
Now I wish we had cameras. The look I just got. I don't know how to interpret that.
Well, let's see. Well, I mean, nowadays we do so much shopping online that, guess for lack of anything else, Dillard's or Chico's or, but a lot of it's just, because I hadn't found anywhere else that I
Yeah.
really like.
Okay.
So I love little specialty shops, boutiques and so forth, but those are
Okay.
usually hard to find. So if anybody has a special place they want to recommend, you can let me know.
Okay.
We'll do an advertisement for them.
There you go. You had an interesting answer to this, right?
I like basically thrift shops. Canton. I love to go out to Canton. If you don't know what Canton is First Monday Trade Days. It's basically a flea market. So I love flea markets. And it's just, I think that kind of goes back to my dad. My dad used to love to go to Canton, and he wouldn't go to the big open air things. He would go to literally the people that weren't under roof, because they would give you a hammer for 10 cents. Okay, that was his big thing. I got a hammer for 10 cents. Hey, you can't beat that.
Did he need a hammer?
No, he had all kinds of hammers, but he got one for 10 cents, and he appreciated that.
deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's what I grew up with, and so I kind of enjoyed that. Also, finding the bargain. That's
Yeah.
Well, actually, you gave me an idea because I've been wanting to find a Tiffany lamp, but a cheap Tiffany lamp for
I
my
don't
office.
even know what that means.
A Tiffany lamp? Paul, tell me you know what a
I
Tiffany
do.
lamp is.
I do.
It's a lamp that's, Tiffany glass. It's like the stained glass, lots of colors for the shade.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a couple of places out in Canton that you could probably find something like that. So you'll have to, if you're looking for just a regular Tiffany 3/4 inch, or not 3/4, but 3/4 height kind of thing off of yours, we might be able to work out with something.
I don't want to spend a fortune.
Oh, I know.
'cause
I understand.
Those can be very expensive.
Yes.
But
Oh, yeah.
sometimes if you find one.
Yes. Yes. And you have to, and in Canton, you have to know where those are, because it's not in the normal place. It's in the back, in one of the back buildings, and I know exactly where you look for that.
I want to go to Canton with you
Anytime.
because I love vintage cameras.
Oh, all over the place.
I've
though.
got a couple in my
Yes.
office.
A couple.
A couple. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's funny that we don't have the video right now.
Because if we had video right now, I would probably go in and videotape
Clip
that.
to a
And
panning
clip it in.
shot
Yes,
of
a
my-
few cameras.
I have a few cameras, and I like old typewriters. I like old clocks, mechanical clocks. I've got one of those in my office. Watches, and any kind of old mechanical thing. I just love it.
Have you been able to do anything with those watches I gave you?
No, well,
Okay.
long story.
Yeah.
Long story on that, but
Okay.
we'll come back.
Okay, we'll come back.
Anything like that. So that's kind of more of a flea market thing. I just haven't had time to go and to look and see for myself.
The lovely Rebecca loves to go to Canton also, and so we make a day of it usually.
I love Doc's Records in Fort Worth. It's a cool record store. Yeah. And of course, obviously, I love shopping at BMW of Grapevine. A Sewell
Jared is.
dealership.
Did you warn Jared? Did you tell him?
I
about
don't
that?
think he fully understands how far I'm willing to take this. No, if I didn't explain last week, the manager of that dealership is a church member, and it actually is an incredible place. He gave me a tour one time, walked all around the dealership, and it's the most well-run store of any kind I've ever seen. It's not of this world. It's almost like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It's just everything is so precise. It was really cool. Yeah.
Well, I do remember back when I was in the corporate world and we would study other businesses and those that were top of their line in whatever they did. And Sewell was one of them.
Yeah.
You know, it was before the one here in Grapevine.
Yeah.
Or I figure it probably was. But it was one that we studied and looked at their customer service and their cleanliness and all the things that they did.
Oh,
So-
it's next level. And sometimes I have to meet with him, and I'll go to the dealership, and I go in to BMW of Grapevine dressed like Grant Palma, so which means not a BMW of Grapevine customer, but they know I'm there, and they just treat me so nice, even though I'm not their target audience, and that just, to me, that speaks to their internal culture. I love that. So, which, to bring it back to the question, I love not just going and finding interesting things, but any place that really does hospitality and customer service really well. I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that you know that I'm an Apple guy, and back in the day, Apple was amazing with their customer service. It's lacking a little bit today, but it's still amazing. It's better than the average store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. What's your favorite beverage?
Normally I'd say Dr. Pepper, but
You are a Texas girl through and through.
I am, but I'm trying to get away from Dr. Pepper. Actually, I juice every morning, and I really miss it if I'm traveling and can't juice. But it's all these vegetables and stuff that go in there, and I love the taste of it. So
That's neat.
yeah,
I love coffee so much. Probably not as much as Pastor Zach, though. I have a fancy coffee maker at home, and I love to make coffee. That's part of my morning routine. Pastor Zach makes coffee here. He's really into it. It's just kind of like you. It's like, this is how I start my day. That really matters to me. Do you have a favorite beverage of choice?
Well, and you and I talked about this earlier, but I've tried coffee like 2 or 3 times, and it's kind of like, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
I love the smell of it. I do love the smell of it, but I have to have my, Dr. Pepper Zero is what I usually drink. So, Texas boy.
Interesting. So, do you entertain? I left it there just like that.
We definitely needed video today, but the looks that each one is giving.
What an interesting question. I guess I do not necessarily come over and eat a big meal that I have cooked for you. Though we used to do dinner parties and so forth, but even then I didn't cook that much. But I will invite a group out to do something or something. So, yeah. I mean, I don't feel confident in my cooking skills. I have other talents. I haven't figured out what they are, but I'm sure I have some since I'm lacking in the confidence of cooking. So, but I'll have a group over and we'll have game night or fun night.
What kind of games do you play?
Usually it's whatever they bring.
Ah.
So, there's a whole group that they like to, show up with their box games or card games or whatever. So
my son-in-law basically loves games, and so when we get together, board games, and when we get together for Thanksgiving or for Christmas, we have to have at least 2 or 3 games played, or it's not a full day for him.
Yeah.
I like board games.
Oh, I do too. I enjoy them.
So these are now I'll let you know, these are Kathy's these are questions from one of our admins named Kathy, and these are to help with our Secret Santa we're going to do this year.
Oh, so we can figure out gifts or something?
Yeah, but I thought it's kind of interesting, and you can tell these are Kathy's questions. And if we read off all of them, you would really see it. But that's why I want to say, that's such a Kathy question. Do you entertain? Yeah. But she's wonderful. She, her dream is to own a bed and breakfast.
I know, and she can cook, man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
She's incredibly
talented. She loves. I mean, yesterday we had a staff person that was their last day, and so we had a staff lunch for this person, and she decorated everything. And it's kind of like she had less than 12 hours to do this, and she threw it all together. And I mean, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't think the staff is ready for this because we were kind of going, "Who's this for?" I mean,
yeah.
Well, and see, that's the kind of stuff that just freaks me out. If I have to prepare something like food or decorate for a big group, I'll stand up in front of a crowd and talk, but don't ask me to, do something like that to prepare for.
When I was in before I got married, because Becky has changed me on this, but I was known for wrapping all my gifts in brown paper bags. And that's how I brought them in, because that was my way of entertaining. Was here, I'm giving you something, but it's not wrapped. So yeah, I'm not much of a decorator at all.
Yeah, so when I read this question at first, do you entertain? My first reaction was every Sunday morning. But no, not really. I like to cook. In fact, the last time I did anything I would call entertaining was I was helping someone else. I was at someone else's house, and I was doing the cooking, and they were doing the hosting. So I can work with that. I can sling some hash, all right? But all the other parts of it, no, I'm not really much of an entertainer. So there you go. Sounds like if you're ever asked to host a party, I'll have to go cook. Is that what?
Yes,
you're
that's
thinking?
what I was thinking. I don't mind hosting. They can come to my house, and I've got a big table. We can sit a lot, but as far as anything on that table, we're in trouble unless you or Kathy or somebody else shows up.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
Teamwork. Yeah, I want to cook with Kathy. So we'll set this up. Kathy and I'll come and cook, and we'll help entertain.
My mother loved entertaining, and she had a room And in that room, she had a table. And this table, I'm not exaggerating this, could seat 18 people.
Wow.
Okay? And she loved it. And if that table was full, then we got another table, because that's the person that she was. She wanted to have it, just everything for everybody. So,
Yeah. So you're going to have to help me with this one, Paul. Favorite entertainment spots. I didn't understand that. And so
basically,
yeah.
My interpretation of that is like the Sundance Square, the old West End in Dallas,
taking people to different places.
Well, an entertainment spot, basically where you can go and have venues, several of them. So, not necessarily like
the stockyards.
Yeah, the stockyards. There's lots to do down there. So
downtown Fort Worth.
Yeah. Like I say, Sundance Square.
7-Eleven.
Well, it sounds like downtown Grapevine is a great place to.
It is.
Yes.
There's lots of places you can go, and
Lots of
I'm just
things to
learning
do,
all this, but
I think so. I think it's probably one of the nicest places around here, and I think the numbers show that,
Yes.
because so many people come here to be entertained.
Yes. Well, and when you asked me this question earlier, I said that Rebecca's, and my first date was at the old Dallas West End. And for those that don't remember or don't know, I don't know how long ago it was, but basically that was like 7 clubs.
the piano bar,
The piano bar,
Spaghetti Warehouse,
exactly, and that's where we went. We went to the Spaghetti Warehouse, and then to the piano bar, and we went to the 50s Club for a little bit, and they used to have some shopping areas, and so we just made a full night of it, kind of thing.
So is that still down there?
I don't think so, but I've not been down there. I mean, that was BK. That was before kids, so it's kind of like. Once we had kids, we didn't hang out there anymore. And I think it's gone, but I'm not positive about that. I know the Spaghetti Warehouse is still there. Oh, it's not there?
I don't think so. I think it's closed.
Okay.
I think
Well, there you go.
I think we need a listener to let us know.
Yes, please.
Yeah, don't ask Paul for any recommendations.
Yeah,
He's going to
really.
give you names of places that have been
Spaghetti
closed
Warehouse, yeah.
for over
Isn't there
a
at least
decade.
one Spaghetti Warehouse still, like in Arlington or someplace?
Oh, well, maybe so, but I don't
I don't know.
I
I
know
could
that
be
one down
totally
there
wrong.
is
Okay.
closed. I
Okay.
did eat there was a really good Mexican restaurant down there, but I don't remember what the name of that one, so I can't recommend it.
Okay. Well, we learned something there. Don't trust Paul.
Don't trust Paul.
Entertainment spots.
Yeah.
Don't ask me for recommendations because it's probably 20 years old at least.
Yeah, I think that if someone were to ask me, like if they're from out of town and just kind of looking at the whole area, it's hard not to just recommend Grapevine. Or, I think just that. I was about to say, I think that Dallas and Fort Worth are so difficult. Like, it's hard to say which areas are cool to go to.
The problem, I mean, I love going down to the stockyards, but parking is terrible and
Expensive.
Also, if for those that are my age or so, basically by 8 o'clock, everything turns into under 25. And you feel
gets
Aren't we
little-
under 25?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Keva
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You and I are too old to go.
Yeah.
Glad we don't have the video.
Well, the sad thing is the last time we were down there, Becky and I were down there, we were actually seeing Josh Ingram at one of his events, and we left that event and we went across the street and we went to eat, and my waitress happened to be an ex-student of mine, so that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. All right, I think I'm going to skip this one, and then we'll move right over to... And this one is a little bit more of an esoteric question. But as we're kind of getting to know you, and maybe we should try to answer for her to try to guess, and that will definitely get us in trouble. But so my question is, and you kind of have to have someone else answer for you, but what is your secret ingredient to your success? What is a special intellectual skill or a spiritual gift or something that you feel has gotten you to where you are. That's what I mean. I think it's easier to answer for somebody else.
Okay.
For example, if we were to ask Paul, what is your secret ingredient? What's your special skill? What's your gift? What's that thing that helps you be as successful as you have been over these years? I don't think you would answer as well as I'm about to, honestly.
No, because you told me the answer that you were thinking earlier, and
did you agree with his answer?
Yeah.
Well, try this out. So
Okay.
I think if you were to put it in like terms of a spiritual gift, like a church word, you would say wisdom. And I think it's his intellectual ability to synthesize a lot of different information pretty quickly. He's pretty well read, actually very well read, a lot of different topics, knows a lot of different things, but can quickly bring it together in the moment. And he uses that specifically with teaching, coaching, and being a soundboard for people, which as a successful educator for 20 years, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Youth director before that. And the way he uses that a lot here, working with different people coming to him, myself included, with, hey, I want to do this crazy thing this way. And what Paul calls it is a production meeting. He'll say, let's have a production meeting. What that means is you tell him all the things you want to do, and he listens. He starts asking questions, and before you know it, you've been Jedi mind tricked into thinking that you solved your own problem, when really he's kind of helped guide you and lead you and direct you. And I think a strength that he has that very few other people do is he helps. Well, I'll say this is what he does for me. I know how to tell people what I do, but Paul understands my voice, and he helps me say things the way that I would say them. Not how he would say it, but how I would say it. So it kind of helps remind me who I am and what direction I would take things. And that's a magical secret combo of humility, intelligence, and just care, genuine care for the project, for the person, for everything.
Well, thank you. Those are very kind words.
Well, you could have used these skills to be a stockbroker, lawyer, any number of things to amass wealth for yourself, but you answered the call to a much more difficult and thankless path of being an educator, lifelong learner and an educator, and it's a blessing. It really is.
Well, thank you.
But that's what I think is your secret ingredient. So the wisdom and the production meetings.
I learned very early in my career in AV what a production meeting is, and a production meeting is in that field is you go in and you literally, they say, hey, we want to accomplish X, and you throw out the weirdest things you can. And I remember a production meeting, one of my first ones I ever was in, and I said, hey, we could be on the moon. And I was being just as silly as I could be. And they go, okay, we can't go to the moon, but here's what we can do. And it sparks someone else. And so that's kind of where I pick that up is that taking someone's, how they want to get there, but taking it in a direction we could go into.
Yeah. All right. So you don't agree with me?
I do agree with you. It's hard to talk about yourself, and I don't like that.
Well, take the compliment.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I will.
Yeah, because you are good at listening and then taking it different directions and stuff. So.
I try to listen. I try to find out what y'all need. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, I'll say this. I was working at a baseball stadium, and we had a Jumbotron, and they said, hey, we're going to have a football game in here, and we need a running clock. I said, Jumbotrons at the time didn't do running clocks. They said, well, figure it out. I figured it out in less than 3 days, and everyone told me that I couldn't do it, and I got it figured out in 3 days. So,
well, you are stubborn. I don't know if that's your secret ingredient, but yes. There you go.
Very.
Cool.
All right.
So how would you answer for Grant?
I think that he sometimes is too hard on himself.
Oh, yeah.
I think that he's a very caring person. I think that his secret ingredient is knowing when to be quiet, but also when to speak.
I get that wrong so often, though. No, thank you for saying that. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also the courage to speak.
Yeah.
Because there's times when people would be quiet when it's a challenging situation, but it takes somebody with courage to speak up. And so
I know that you know this person, and you might know this person, Walt Markham. Mm-hmm. Walt Markham was I was in a training 30 years ago with Walt Markham, and he said, when you ask a question, don't be the first one to answer the question. And I've learned that the hard way, because we as humans, we don't like silence.
Walt is really good at that.
And he really taught that to me early on in my youth directing career. And I took it into teaching and everything like that, because someone's going to get even more uncomfortable and want to answer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
But
one of the. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you've got to have the peace and be able to project peace to make that okay.
Right.
And that's a role that we in the church have to take on. And in those meetings, in those moments of, it's okay to take time to think and sit with it, or not say anything, just be there. But we've got to be the ones to take control of that environment and just in our posture, in our spirit, in our mind, make that okay. I've watched Walt do that. We officiated a funeral together several years ago, and met with the family, and it was tough because we're trying to make big decisions, and he handled that really well.
I still remember I worked for Dr. Randy Wild twice. In North Richland Hills and at Genesis in Fort Worth. But he tells the story of his first going to a funeral, a viewing. And he didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do, really didn't know anything. So he just stood there. And he didn't think that he did well. Got home, got a phone call. Thank you for being there. You meant so much to us. Yeah. Sometimes it's knowing when to be quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I like our English language sometimes, and some terms that we have in our language. One in particular is we are human beings, but we want to be human doings, human talkings, human solvings. No, we're human beings. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you said what I would say, but I appreciate your take on what is Grant's secret ingredient?
So what would you say your secret ingredient is?
Resilience.
Excellent.
Yeah,
good answer.
I would say I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah, through it all.
Yeah. So.
That's good.
Now we're turning it on.
Well, but wait. Well, what? Because we didn't ask you your opinion of was there a word or something for yours?
Of himself? He knows I'm right.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he didn't say something else. So.
I feel that my wit is quick, and sometimes that means that I can make decisions very quick. Basically, when I was with the Air Hogs for 10 seasons, my job was to watch a play that happened in real time, and I literally had 2 to 3 seconds to decide whether it could go up on the Jumbotron, because our rules said no controversial plays. And so I literally had to make a decision within 3 seconds, whether we were going to put it up on the board or not. And it really taught me, okay, evaluate everything very quickly and make that decision.
Good.
Don't sit there and go, well, just do it. And that is so it's life lessons that I've learned over the last 20 years. But the wit is quick, but the mind is quick also.
Good.
Yeah. So let's try to answer for Keva. I don't even know where. And this is why it's hard to. I like this challenge because it's how do you nail down that specific gift or characteristic that is perhaps not immediately noticeable on the surface, but yet once you know it, it clearly is a linchpin. Like, speaking of Paul, he has many gifts and many talents. I was just trying to boil it down to what do I think, God has crafted in him and uses him to do most special things. You have a lot of gifts, though. You have many talents, and so trying to find what is the secret ingredient for Dr. Keva Green? I don't know. Here's what I think, and you have every right to ask us to delete this after I say.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think that as I've gotten to know you, and I've had to observe you pretty closely during this process of discernment, of coming on board, and what I think is a secret Keva ingredient is kind of hidden from general view, okay? Because you are intelligent, you are well-spoken, you're well-traveled, you're well-read. You learn people's names very quickly. I've noticed that you have all these skills. But I think underneath it, after all you've been through, the ups, the downs, all of your accomplishments, at your core, you are still sweet and earnest. And I think that's something that those edges on people's souls get worn down doing what we do. I know mine have, and I lament that. But you haven't lost what it means to truly be earnest and honest and authentic. And because I've watched you one-on-one with people, like a young person that you and I introduced you to. And I watched you interact with a young woman. And you talked with her about yourself, about your life, about her life. And I thought, that's not Dr. Keva Green, the experienced, world-traveled pastor. That was Keva, girl from a small town, talking to a girl from a small town about just life. It's like, this is probably a horrible analogy, but it's kind of like whenever you see like a really big dog, like the kind of dog that can like protect, like an Anatolian shepherd or something, like can protect a flock of animals, big teeth, jaws, everything. And it's fun to watch a truly sweet animal like that see a smaller dog and intentionally lie down to say, all of my muscles and teeth and fur, I don't want you to fear me. I want to be on your level, and to do that. And I think the fact that you are still, sweet, earnest Keva, after all of that, with all these other things, I think that's your secret ingredient. Am I wrong?
I would have said something else, but
Did I surprise you by saying that?
yeah.
I know I confused you when you were new on staff here, and I said, "You're the real deal." I'm sorry for saying that, but you're the real. And you kind of looked at me, kind of like, "Why are you sorry for saying that?" Because I've met so many people that aren't the real deal, and you are. And what I mean by that is that you aren't just putting on a facade. You are who you present yourself as.
But you do such a good job of presenting that I think, and you have all these other characteristics. It is, yeah. Paul's right. I don't think we talked about this at all. But like, at first, because what I do, I've been around my people, my tribe. It's made me cynical, and I was like, all right, where's the shoe gonna drop?
Yeah, yeah.
And I watched how you treat staff, and I thought, oh, she's gonna be a little, maybe not talk to Sanders, or be a little short with our media guys, because I've watched that over the years. I've watched pastors, visiting guest speakers. I've watched what they present to the population, and then how they treat us behind closed doors. And sad how often it's different. There's some lay people here I see do that. Very respected by their peers, treat church staff like the help. And and it seems like that's a pit you can fall in the more you accomplish in life. And so I think your secret ingredient is you didn't let that change you at all. If anything, it made you more humble, more yourself, more truly Keva, even though you've become all these things. Yeah, Paul's right. You're the real deal. Zach is too, by the way. That's similar to what I would say about him. Is his I think his secret ingredient is he really cares as much as as he lets, as as he shows.
I have to tell you, you were talking about the dog analogy, and for those that don't know me, I'm 6'3", and we'll just say close to 300 pounds. And when I stand up,
Not, I mean, you're losing weight.
I'm losing
by the way.
weight. I am.
Yeah,
Yes,
want to
I
celebrate
am.
that.
Yes. But my wife had to teach me, stay seated, and I got in trouble as a teacher because you're supposed to be up and walking around and everything like that. But here's this big guy walking around with a loud voice.
I was about to say, and you're loud.
And a loud voice. But basically, I learned to be on their eye level, and stay seated, and I had to. I had to learn that because that was not. As a teacher, you're supposed to be up and running around. But my principal never understood why I did that.
I think it's important. We're kind of straying from the
I'm sorry. I digress.
the original purpose of what we're talking about, but I like this question. It's an odd question, which I like odd questions because it makes you think differently about yourself. Twofold. One is, I was reminded that I recently told. So I'll give the actual example. Arlene Small, the organist. She's a guest organist. She's kind of all around an amazing talent. Quiet little lady, but when she plays the organ, it's just extra loud. And I've known her throughout the years. We've crossed paths many times, and I guess it was last year. She filled in for several services in a row. Linda was on vacation, and I said, she played a piano piece, and then she played the organ again, and I said, I love it when you play piano, but the organ is your voice, and you have an incredible voice that you share with us. And she just stopped and looked at me, and she goes, Actually, she didn't even mention it again until next time I saw her. There was like a gap, and she brought it up. She goes, remember when you said the organ is my voice? I've never heard that before, and I've never been able to put it to words, but that just means so much to me. You're right. It is my voice, and I'm blessed to be able to use it to glorify God. And I thought, it's sad that we don't tell people who are special to us exactly why. What is it? That secret ingredient to Arlene is the voice that she has through the organ and what it's meant to me at these I'm about to cry because there's one in particular. There was a funeral for somebody close to me, and it just means so much. But we don't stop and say, hey, this thing about you that impacts my life on a daily basis? You might not even be aware.
Yeah.
Well, and your voice, I know that...
Keva's not Grant's. You can't see us.
Sorry. I'm pointing across the table. You have already shared so much about your life with our members here. And not just in your sermons, but personally with people that you've talked with, and I've heard about that, and that means a lot because a lot of pastors they don't want to do that, and so again, I give you kudos for that.
My life is pretty messy, but maybe it helps others to realize that there's good that comes out of it. In fact, I was talking to somebody a little while ago about from the most difficult times have also come the most the greatest blessings. And I think that's true of all of our lives. We don't always know it when we're going through it, but...
Some of your pitfalls in your education, meaning that, you didn't get it the way you wanted to, but then you had to go a different direction and everything like that. But it didn't stop you. And that's amazing to me because I've seen a lot of people that hit a wall and just go, I'm not going to do it anymore. Not you. You kept on going.
Yeah.
Or they turn bitter, exactly.
Yeah, blame a lot of people and a lot of things. Yeah. There's so many pitfalls there. You're right, and you lose a part of yourself. Mm-hmm. Some people do. But, as we've heard from Keva in her story and her sermons, with God's help, God can take that and help you use it for good.
Well, in fact, when you first asked the question of your secret ingredient, what popped in my head is prayer.
Yeah.
Because, if you can stop every morning and, and everything that you do and just hand it over to the Lord, then you're not doing it on your own.
I think that's what makes your secret ingredient work is the prayer.
Yeah.
And letting God use your nature, your experience, and maybe like turn the light on something new inside your heart and your soul and your brain to do new things. Yeah, I that is always the secret ingredient.
But we all have access to that. So I'm shocked at some points when you ask people, do you pray? And they say, yeah, every once in a while I'll pray before I go to bed. And I think, oh, goodness, you're missing out. You had this power that you could have walked into everything with.
Yeah.
You know, if you just pray. In fact, in my house, as I go out the back door to get into the garage to get to my car, is my breakfast nook, and I have one chair that's turned crooked, so that as I walk past, I have to stop there, and I stop and kneel, and before I go out and get in the car, it's like, okay, Lord, you know, go with me, you know, whatever I'm doing, whoever I see, whatever. But if we have those reminders throughout the day of stopping and saying, okay, Lord, you know what's next. Give me the words, or, you know, prepare my heart, or prepare the situation. That way we're accessing that power that's available to everybody, you know. So, but we all kind of miss out on it if we don't lean on him.
Yeah.
So,
But sometimes on 121, it's hard to remember that, right?
It's the devil's highway.
It is the devil's highway.
well, 360 is better now that I've been praying over it. So maybe you just need a
maybe
little
it's my
bit more
fault.
prayer.
Need to pay more.
We'll have an intercession over
Yeah,
Highway 121.
It needs an exorcism. Yeah.
We can do that.
Oh, that's what I brought in terms of questions. Do you have something?
The only question I have is basically, do you miss the food that you had in England?
Oh, that isn't easy. No, I don't. I had good friends over there, and they would cook, and that was okay. But yeah, I like spicy, and yeah, some of our taste over here.
What are some of your best memories of your time in England?
Oh, the people, friends, and so forth. I have some very close friends that are over there. Sean Adair, Reverend Sean Adair, was my circuit superintendent, and we became really close friends, and we still stay in touch. In fact, when I was over there, I guess in August, is that when I was over there? Or July, stayed with him and his family, and they come over here some, and I have some other friends in another area of South Yorkshire that I go see, and so it's the people, you know, the churches that I served over there, and the people, and yeah, the food's not up there, but the people are wonderful.
What about the weather? Do you miss the weather?
Oh, the weather's definitely not, just rainy, cloudy.
Yeah.
Can be very depressing, you know, and I'm not crazy about the sunlight, or the lack of sunlight in the winter, but it's always good to come back to Texas and our big skies and so forth. So.
And Whataburger.
And Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's all I've got for today. Unless you have more. I'm sorry.
Nope.
And apologies for no cameras if you're a YouTube regular. You'll get
They'll
by
be
though.
back next week, hopefully.
Yeah, they'll be back next week. We'll
maybe Zach will be back too. No, and I have questions for next time. So.
Well, yeah, but it's like, do you have any questions you'd like to bring now?
No, we can save them for next time.
We can wait. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, let me see. So the quote this week, I've shared with you this one. And the background on this is, and I was actually very flattered to be the subject of this conversation. We were in our lounge in our dorm in college, and there's a guy there from like Chicago, and a couple of us were kind of talking, and he was kind of laughing at himself about, grew up in this metroplex, but likes to eat most basic bland food, had never been anywhere, really didn't fully take advantage of all these things going on. And somebody said it's funny that this guy lives such a closed-off life, and then Grant, who grew up in the sticks, has friends overseas and likes to eat weird food and all this. And then another friend named Brandon just said, your world is as big or as small as you let it be.
Yep.
And
That's a great one.
that was a very nice, and that was kind of just a funny thing relating to food and travel. But sadly, I see that a lot in worldview, the way we treat other people, perspective, whether or not you have empathy for those, and just because you have certain resources or you live in a certain place doesn't mean that your world's really that big. A lot of times we let it be small. I think that's our human nature. So bear that in mind and think a little bit bigger. Your world is as big or as small as you let it be. And I think it ought to be a little bit bigger. How's that sound?
Fantastic.
Which reminds me of a scripture, and now I'm trying to think where it is. I think it's in Isaiah, and it's talking about make your tent larger, to spread out the ropes and strengthen the stakes. Isaiah, it's over on the right-hand side.
That is Isaiah.
A quarter of
I'm trying to look
52, 54.
Say something else.
Yeah, it's about enlarge your tent. Just thinking about making things.
Isaiah 54, 2 through 3. Our tent will enlarge, our tent of influence, so that others may come to know God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stretch your tent curtains wide. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords. Strengthen your stakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that it? And I think that's what we all need to be doing in our lives. Just enlarging our tents to bring others in and.
Hold on. Give me one more second. I'll read it again.
Okay.
Isaiah, what did I just say? Isaiah
54.
2, 3.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This hand isn't working right again. Isaiah 54, what? Yes,
3.
there it is. Enlarge the site of your tent, and let the curtains of your habitations be stretched out. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I just love that
No,
idea.
he was right. As soon as you said that, I'm like, that is in Isaiah. Where is that?
Yeah, of not just shutting yourself off, but there's so much more to the world and so many more great people and opportunities and adventures and everything else. And,
Yeah.
And I think God intends for us to experience it all and love on other people and make a difference. So, yeah.
I agree. Did we just write a sermon together there? Did we
That
just
sounds good.
reveal that holy conversation to the internet? Yeah,
Yeah.
let's write that one in there and see what we can do.
All right.
How
sounds
fun.
Good.
Maybe even we should work that scripture in this Sunday.
I think it'd be good for this Sunday.
Or maybe this past Sunday we use that scripture.
Oh, that's
'Cause
right.
this comes
Our
out-
time zone.
Yeah,
Time continuum.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We're covered either way.
Yeah, there you
We're
go.
covered either way. All right. Well, it's been a joy to be here with you, dear listener. You've got something on your mind or you need to talk to one of us, give us a call. Shoot us an email. We'd love to help with your faith journey however we can. Until next time, we hope you have a blessed day.